we are watching murderers go free. They hide behind their badges, they hide behind their white privilege, and they use the excuse that they fear for their lives to murder our young people in cold blood.
It's done.
X, my brother.
No. Don't think about it.
All you self-righteous assholes do is march and destroy your own communities. Killing me won't change a goddamn thing.
It's a lot different when it's a grown black man standing his ground.
Hello?
Hey, what's up, L? So make sure you guys go check out Checks and Balances, man. I was just playing the trailer. But L and I were just having a conversation. And I was like, man, do you want to record this? Because people always enjoy our conversations. But go ahead and continue where you left off.
Yeah, we was talking about the recognition, well, me recognizing having the discernment, the God-given discernment of knowing that the things that we've been oppressed by are not good to use against any other race of people. Like for me, like as a black person, me recognizing that I was a black man as a kid and a black boy at that time, and me coming to the realization of what it meant to be black. Like I knew I was different. To be black, I knew it was different to be black. And I'm like, man, we're in a bad position. Mm-hmm. And then when I started learning about racism and all these things, I started realizing like, man, it's really tough being black. And then learning the history and all of that, it will naturally cause you to hate other people. Hate does nothing but build hate. That's all it does. Hate generates more hate. But when I started to understand how that made me feel, like the feelings it gave me, I said, how can I put that on somebody else? Even if it feels justifiable, because I do believe in defending myself. I do believe in people defending themselves, but I can't perpetuate hate. I can't give another person hate just because they give me hate.
Right.
Or just for the specific reason why they give me hate. Not because of who the content of my character, but just because of me being a black man. So I realized young and early that, man, it feels bad to be hated just because I'm black. So why would I hate another person just because they white or they Mexican or they Asian or whatever their race is? Why would I do that when I know what that feels like? So being a bigger person, it meant something different to me, and it shed a different light upon me that, man, I can't give out hate. Like, and for us as black people to especially, make a complaint about that we've been hated upon, which we have more than any race on this planet throughout history of mankind. But for us to do the same thing, that means we've totally been broken down. Like we basically totally assimilated to the hate that was given to us by our oppressors and everyone else that was influenced by that hate to look at us in a lower light, in a lower sense of a being. Like that means that we basically allowed that to reduce who we are, because as blacks, our civilizations have never operated like that. As a human, we've never operated like that. As a society, we've never operated. As independent societies, we've never operated like that. So to allow that to penetrate exactly who we are, our very fabric, I couldn't, you know, I couldn't subscribe to that notion because I'm a human first.
Mm-hmm.
You know, of course I'm a black man. I'm proud to be black. I was just having this conversation with a avid Trump supporter white dude. We had a real cool conversation, man. At the end of the conversation, he said, "Man, it's cool to meet people that's like-minded." And had we never had talked about some of the things that we talked about, we would just went on with our day, probably, you know, not thinking nothing of one another aside from, you know, what the services we was providing for each other. Like, but you know, the oppression that we faced as blacks has caused us to
Obsession or obstacle? What do you said?
No, I
Upset.
said the oppression.
Oh, oppression. Thank you.
The
Oppression.
oppression that we faced has caused us to diminish and has caused our higher selves, our higher powers, our intellect, like our position as humans to like it has reduced it. Like because we've assimilated to all of the inferiorities that's been given to us. Like you gotta think like this, man. Ancient Egypt, we were the mother of civilization. Ancient Egypt was the mother of civilization. All these other lands and all these other groups of people, they aspired to be like that. Now, once those groups came in and conquered the people, and they, you know, in their conquest and their vie for power, they attacked our very essences. Like everything that we was good at, they attacked it. And they also diminished it. And when they attained the power, what they gave back to our generations of offsprings that had not known anything about those mighty civilizations, they gave back lies. And so you never operated, those people, those new offsprings never operated in that higher essence of mental, you know, of mental ability. You get what I'm saying? And that's where we at right now. Like we get so reduced as a people mentally that we don't understand what it is to just be black and just be like people have a false perception of the powers that we truly possess. Like to where like I said, we start over sensationalizing everything because we're in such a state of destitute.
Is it sensationalizing or inheriting? Or digesting? Like, because do we believe it or do we sensationalize?
No,
like,
you sensationalize. You don't really believe that because if you believe it in one way, you got to believe it in every way, and your actions gonna prove that.
So we wouldn't be walking around inferior. We wouldn't be saying white supremacy. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. We wouldn't even. That wouldn't even. That's exactly my point.
Yeah, exactly. And to that point, see, for real, if we say that we are, like before we started this conversation, recorded it, black kings, black gods, you say Egypt, people say Kemet, wherever. If we were the first human beings, that means we are the superior being, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, if we are the superior being from a mindset and an accountability perspective, why is it so challenging for us to accept it? Because if we are wait, I'm gonna let you go off. Then that means the drug dealing, white supremacy, gang banging, killing should not exist. And it should not be an excuse, because if we are the first brain, we are the first intellectuals, we built the pyramids. You know what I mean? Like, why do we spend so much time on race? if we are the first human beings. So if we are the first human beings and we're negotiating race, we're really the fools.
Yeah. Well, most people don't have a clue or a true understanding. Like the kind of world we live in the society we live in, it's like a constant vie for power and position and a place in society. And we've been ranked so low for so long that we at any given opportunity or chance that would deem us anything more than what we've been accustomed to knowing, that we've grown accustomed to knowing, we just we take that and run with it, with no understanding. Like no true, like you said, if we really believe that we were all these things that we say we are, like, which are, in my mind, that's just a lot of over sensationalizing. If we really understood who you are, none of this, no other way, all these things that all these other races do to us, it wouldn't even affect us.
It wouldn't even affect us.
For one, we would have our own communities established. These things, like we would be totally self-sufficient. We would have an understanding amongst each other and a unity and a brotherhood amongst each other that would be untouchable. So it wouldn't even be no matter of who cares what these people said. Like I don't care how you feel about me. I don't care what you think about me. It doesn't matter. Like these things wouldn't even be. It wouldn't be it wouldn't be to no avail, to any effect, to our position and our lot in this world. But because most of us don't have no understanding or very little understanding, we over sensationalize and we do anything that make us feel good. Oh man, that feel good, or that sound good.
Right.
Nah, man, have a true understanding. Like I was saying earlier, before I'm a black man, I'm a human being. Right. Period. And my belief is this.
Before you're a black man, you're a human being, right?
Period.
Gotcha. I say the same thing.
I'm a human being before I'm a black man. Because really, to be honest,
there's no such thing as a black man.
But to be honest with you, race was created by men.
That's what I was just about to say.
This is not something of God. Race was created by men.
God created human beings. Humans created race.
He didn't create no black man, no white man. He created human beings. Now I can tell you this. I don't believe in no superior man, but I do believe this though, because this is just by way of scientific concept. From black derived, all colors are derived from black. So it will make sense and it will be totally logical that Adam was a black man. Eve was a black woman. I'm going to tell you why though.
Science.
And science go hand in hand with the true God. Watch this. People got to understand that before the true God, when he was creating earth, people got to understand he used his Holy Spirit, his active force, to shine light through the darkness. That means everything was dark. Everything was black in this inhabited part of the universe. Where he set the earth, everything was dark. So everything was black. Now he had to use his active force, the most supreme being in the universe had to use his active force to shine light through something that was black. It tells you that black is first. It also tells you how strong black is. Now, the real scientists, the true scientists, they understand that when they study the color black. They understand that. Now, again, like I said, God didn't create no race. He didn't create no racial hierarchy. This was all created by imperfect men for means of dominating other men. That was the sole purpose. So this is all the confusion that has been, thrown about and washed throughout the earth by man under the influence of Satan, the devil. This is not nothing of God. So this is why you got so many people that buy into that ideology of, oh, this is the superior man, that is the superior man. Look, man, we are humans. At the end of the day, we are humans. But it does.
Do you think that a most prosperous life in America is to be a human being or to be a black man? Like a positive black man or a positive human being?
A positive human being, man, because
I agree.
They exist amongst all these so-called races of people, man.
I agree.
Like, I cannot tell you right now that every good person I know is black. Or the only good people I know are black. Or the only bad people I know are black. Like, I can't tell you that, man. I see the same type of human beings. I see the same type of human beings across the spectrum. The spectrum, man. The same kind of, like, I find like-minded people like myself, man, across the spectrum, man. I find idiots like, the idiots we know every day. I find it all across the spectrum, man. This shit is happening all over the world, man. Right. This shit is happening all over the land, man. Like it's crazy. Like in the conversation I was mentioning, like I always tell, man, I actually was, look, man, my step-grandmother was white, right? And she had over 50 siblings, man. Her daddy was a trucker, man. And he was a German dude, Schreiner. That was her last name, Schreiner. This dude had over 50 kids, man. And some of his kids back in Indiana, man, they was they're part of the KKK. And my step-grandmother, I would go visit her in Indiana and shit. We would travel the country. And I was actually in the boondocks of Indiana. We went to go visit her sister, and her brothers, and they was part of this, whatever that KKK clan out there was, man. And I was back there with them, but I was tripping out because I was like, man, I'm talking about we drove off the grid, man, into like some, man, like a fucking bush town with dirt roads and campers and all that, man. And I realized something. I said, man, these people just like us in Compton. They just white. They like the ghetto white people. Like, but it was like a parallel and a similarity. Like, man, they just like us. They just don't like blacks. But they have a similar type of lifestyle, and they feel like misfits of society and the throwaways too. When I start really like, wow. But they would just filled with hate against us. Like, and that's the only thing. Like, but I'm like, man, they similar to us. Like, and a lot of them, to be honest with you, if you just stay away from them, they 9 times out of 10, they gonna stay away. You got your cases where you got idiots that are, that want to go out and kill blacks and do stupid shit. And, I'm not going to give them no excuses either because that ain't cool. But for the most part, I just seen that they was ignorant just like us. So they was just as vulnerable to the hate syndrome because they was ignorant. And they really didn't have no interactions with black people. And just like most black people that have no interactions with white people, they fall for the same hate syndrome as anybody else. Like, we humans, man.
Boom. So the same doozy that the system is putting on the black people is the same doozy they putting on the white people.
For sure. You gotta think about it. Look, like I tell people like this, man. How you think Trump won that election, man? He won that election by way of swing voters. Now, the swing voters was the people who didn't vote in previous elections. See, they always trying to captivate the people that are not voting because they do a census. They know how many people is in this land and they know how many people are voting. They know how many people are not voting. And they know that, oh, okay, these people now, see, Trump is very smart. He was very intelligent. Look, the swing voters was all those people in the middle of America, those people in the racist white folks. These people were the swing voters. Trump said, I'm gonna appeal to these people. And they came out in groves. And they won him the election. Now watch this. What did he do for those people? What did he ultimately do for those people?
He gave them hope.
He emboldened them.
Emboldened them, sure he did. The Proud Boys.
He didn't really,
and they stormed the Capitol.
But at the end of the day, though, what did he do for them? He left them in a lurch. Just like we've, as Black people, been left in a lurch every time we've been duped into voting for some one of these politicians, left in a lurch. They don't give a fuck about. They poor white people just like we poor Black people. They don't give a fuck about them. Trump didn't do a damn thing for them. They don't got no more power. They just been emboldened. That's it. They've been emboldened to do hate crime. That's it.
So it's, who is it, protection or power? Like, is that base that you speak of, like the swing voters? Do they want protection, or do they want to be able to step on the people and feel emboldened?
A little bit of both.
Both, a little bit of both,
for them,
sure.
For them people, a little bit of both, you know. Because of the type of hate that they've been conditioned with, you know, they truly, you know, hate Black folks. And not only do they want to be protected by the government, they also want to trample Black people. You know. But my thing is this, though. For the most part, as Blacks in this country, we've acquired enough wealth, and we've acquired enough amount of rights in this country to form our own communities. And within those communities, we have enough resources to form our own protection agencies. So, to be honest, if we think that if it has to do anything with fear or us seeking and vouching for protection from the government, from these people, we really don't need that. All we need is each other, to be honest with you. But I don't understand why Black people complain to the same,
exactly,
to a system that was set up by people, or it was set up by groups of people. I'm not gonna say everybody, but we have a system that was set up, that was predicated upon racism, right? And upon keeping us in a position of inferiority. Why would we try to persuade these people to give us any more presidents than they get themselves? They would give their own people or their offspring. Or why should we think that they would want to make it equal for us? Like, they're not gonna do that.
Who would give up their competitive advantages, right?
Yeah, why would they do that?
It makes no sense. Shit makes
They would
no
never
sense.
do that. But we sitting up here, Black people are sitting up here, every time something happens in our community, we still crying out to them.
But why do we expect to change their behavior? Like, I posted that the other day. Like, we're so stupid that we rather complain and try and convince than build. Like, I don't understand, like, going into the white man and complaining why he won't let me in my store, why he won't let me in my restaurant, why you won't treat me like your brother. He's your why won't you change your rules to make us equal?
Not gonna happen.
It'll never happen. But if we build our own, or if we build up and have a sense of power, then
that's a fact.
Then it happens, you know. And always use me as the example. Like, they thought that they were kicking me out of boxing, but when in actuality, they didn't know that I was in some ways like semi-conforming and creating a safe space for me in boxing. You know,
some all your own.
Say it again.
Like, something all your own. That's like that's like a person kicking you out their house and you going to get your own house. Now it's like, okay, it's my rules now.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
I don't, you know what I mean? Like
Sure,
you don't have no say here. You don't govern anything here.
Mm-hmm.
This is how it's supposed to be, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
And you know what I noticed about that? And I would say this is, oh man, 90% of people, not just black people, they don't know what 100% independent voice, person, action is. They always thinking, what's the ramifications if I be completely free?
Yeah. Well, you gotta understand. Like that's the part of that's the part
The programming.
I was telling you
That's
earlier.
the programming.
And this is also the inferiority complex that we've been conditioned to assimilate to.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you got to think like this. Right? Before the civil rights movement, we had thriving black communities, business communities all across America. We wanted to be accepted by a people in America that didn't want to accept us into their world. Okay, that's cool.
Well, the whole reason why we want equality is because we have an inherent belief that we're inferior. Why?
Exactly.
Why do you? Go ahead.
Now watch this. But watch this though. This is the crazy. This is what I'm talking about. That inferiority complex. We not only wanted to assimilate into their society. We wanted to assimilate into their society at the expense of giving up our own communities.
Facts.
Our own big communities. Like, that was part of the deal. And then the great opportunists, they came in, and the great opportunists were the Chinese, were the Asian people. They came in and bought all our businesses all across America. And we lost. We gave up everything. Now, it's not like I say, I don't have nothing. Look, I love humans living amongst each other. But I love it. I don't have no problem.
No, but here's
those
you're breaking up.
Can you hear me?
No, go ahead. No, but there's a difference. See, you don't even have to have that conversation with anyone or anybody. When you're living in your truth, it has no barriers. And
oh yeah, of course.
And that's why I don't like when people preface, I got white friends, I got black friends, I got this, I got that. That shit corny.
Yeah.
Dog. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I
get it.
That shit extra corny. You know, just living truth, you know? I don't like you can't be God fearing and be fighting for equality. Like, that shit is stupid. Like,
no,
you can't believe in God and be fighting for equality. Like, that's corny.
No, I agree. I 100% agree.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with that. And I'm gonna tell you, like, we hear this all the time, the truth sets you free.
Right.
But it really does, though.
Yeah, it does.
When you know the truth, when you really know the truth, you
right.
feel it and you live within it,
right.
Those things become non-existent to you.
Right.
And this is how I truly feel. Like, I'm unaffected, and I'm unaffected by the sensitivities of the race bait playing games that America's been accustomed to and this world has been accustomed to and been conditioned and washed with. I'm unaffected by the sensitivities of that. Like, it don't even affect me because I don't even live in that region. Like, that space that this world has created amongst humans, I don't live there. Because, like, for one, I've never had an inferiority complex about being a black man. That's one. For two, I've never bought into the hate. Now, that is not upon my own doing or my own accord. Like I said, I've been supremely blessed by the true God to have discernment to understand that. Because if not, I'll be a fool and I'll be lost just as most people are today. And I gotta constantly, like, I remember when I was young, I didn't like looking at like old slavery type movies. I didn't like looking at that because it used to make me, I'm human, man. It used to make me want to say, man, let's go fuck up some white people. Because you watching this and you starting to get conditioned by this, and I'm like, I don't want to watch this no more because I know, like, I'm not this type of person, and I don't want to be this type of person. I just want to defend myself and live. I want to live peacefully, first and foremost, and secondly, if I had to defend myself, I will defend myself. But I don't want to be having this notion of, oh, I hate white people. I hate any type of other human being just because they, you know, a different color than me. I didn't want to inherit that. Like, so I had to fight against that, and we all got to fight against that because this is all we see. Like, in order to retain power, I don't care who you are. In order to retain power in the midst of competitors that are also vying for power and are trying to weaken your power structure, you have to first, the most effective way is to confuse and divide. And they've done that perfectly.
Yeah.
Now,
how much is it? But how much is it acceptance in 2022? Like I said, tomorrow, Juneteenth, 1865 was the last slave that was freed, right? So we're literally to the day 157 years away from the last slave being free. Obviously, we had Jim Crow and all that, but how much of it is it now choice?
Oh, it's a greater number it's a greater percentage of it being choice, probably 90-10.
Excuse me. When we're walking down the aisleway or down the hallway into this game of life, don't we know our opponent's strengths and weaknesses?
Of course.
So it's 100%.
Pretty much.
You know, like I understand.
I say 10% only because, but yeah, you can look at it as 100% too, though. But I say the other 10% is 90% choice. The other 10% is because the system is skewed. Like, it's skewed against you.
I know the system is skewed.
But looking at it from your angle, since you know their weaknesses and strengths, it's 100% because you should be able to know how to navigate and how to actually form a defense to deal with this, and a superior way of dealing with it. So yeah, I definitely see your point.
Yeah.
Your reasoning on it as well.
Okay.
Like, I can see that.
I'll do a simple analogy. I've been running for over 20 years, like on the streets, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've stepped in shit twice in over 20 years.
You make it a point to
exactly. And I know the 2 times it's happened. Literally, you know, I've never, and that's just the bottom line. When you come out of that tunnel, when you leave your locker room, when you come through your mother's birth canal, and you're coming through life, and you're coming towards life, and you know that based, I know we spoke about divinity at the top of this conversation. That would be that's the reality. But there's a journey to get there. Shouldn't your parents arm you with the reality of this, like in terms of raising you and in terms of treating? But I don't believe that it should be lateral moves. Like, now we're going backwards because it was 2 out of 10 kids that didn't have fathers. Now it's 7 out of 10, and that comes from the plan. See, it is a plan for them to like confuse and divide. What terms did you use? Confuse and conquer. What'd you say?
confused and divided.
I can't make out what you're saying.
I said, yeah, it was confused and divided.
Okay,
It was another
confused.
layer I was gonna put on that. But go ahead.
Yeah. So, and the reason why it has to be 100, because we have to speak from the same talking points. There's no there's no big difference between Detroit and LA,
Sure.
New York and Mississippi. People in Mississippi will say, well, no, it's the same difference, man. Excuse me, it's the same thing. So if we have the same talking points, then it's a universal conversation. But it's not a universal conversation because the black elite says, shit, I'm gonna post about it, but I don't live that lifestyle. The poor people believe that shit ain't attainable, so I'm gonna rob your black ass.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and everything in between. So that's why I think it has to be at 100, understanding the realities of this. And I use myself as an example. No matter, I've always, I told you this at the top, but it's not recorded. I've never not held myself accountable. That's why I've never drank, never smoked, work out 300 days a year. You know, I've never been over a certain weight. When my abs start to get a little fadey, I say, oh, let's put this shit in the overdrive. You know, I've never been like, I've never been a sloth in anything that I did. I found a way to graduate from college. I found a way to, Dre and I are still in alliance, you know, like, I found a way to be a parent. I found a way to be a above average father, you know, with all this against me. So I found a way with no teacher. My teacher died when I was 17, my grandfather. So I have no teacher. None. I have nothing. There's no one in my family outside of my grandfather where I can say, man, that I spent time with, that I can say, man, you're a great male. That I spent time with. So
you had to defy the odds.
It's not necessarily, but it's not necessarily defying the odds, because I don't think
it's made a commitment. I don't think it's a commitment to be the best you.
I don't think it's that hard. I think it's the tangibles that get in the way. I want a college degree. I want $100,000. I want 3 kids. I want that. I gotta have it by 30. I gotta, you know, I gotta have a house. So all these tangible items get in the way of when there's really no barometer.
Exactly.
Your truth doesn't, one, have an apex, and two, there's nothing comparable to it.
That's a fact. That's heavy.
Yeah. And thank you. So, but I genuinely believe that we get in the way. And I didn't see, like, I did a video yesterday. I went by my old neighborhood on Florence and Figueroa, and I was explaining to the people, like, I chose not to be a pimp. I chose not to be a gang member. I chose not to sell drugs. I lived in the house for 6 months with no water and or electricity. I chose not to go rob that old lady on the corner. That was easy for me to do. I didn't do it. And that's why the accountability got to be at 100. Because if we leave any wiggle room, you know what water damage does? It'll tear down an entire house.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You just experienced that, you know? So it's and that's why I believe it has to be at 100%. Now, does the humanity kick in? Yes, because I've been through where you're going through. So I know you don't have a father, or I know you're weak in this area. I'm strong in this area. So I'm going to show you how to graduate from college. Right? I'm going to show you how to tie a tie. I'm going to show you the rubric of going to an interview. I'm going to show you how to apply for an LLC or whatever the case may be. And that's why I no longer give anybody an excuse. I don't give it 98% accountability. It has to be at 100.
That's a great way to that's a great outlook, man, and a viewpoint on that, because man, that goes hand in hand with a recurring conversation I have with my mother a lot of times.
Oh yeah, mothers are the worst at this, man.
But it's a black thing though too though, because I'm gonna tell you about us. We have the least amount of accountability amongst one another. Like if you like sometimes a lot of times, a great deal of times, especially, you know, when there's a household that's missing a father, this happens a great deal. Most of the time, 90% of the time, it's like this happens. The child, especially the boy, he's not, you know, the mother looks at it like, oh, well, the world gonna be so hard on my baby. You know, I gotta give him some kind of leniency, you know, and they end up becoming too lenient, and they never teach the boy accountability. And when he becomes a fuck up and he starts messing up, they always say, well, he gonna be all right. They try to put some optimism in the midst of all of his bad ways. Like, no, you got to correct those bad ways. Why are you giving him like an out? You get what I'm saying? Like that, he's fucking up. He needs to be corrected. And you telling him, well, baby, it's going to be all right. You're going to get it together. At least you're doing this. At least, no, he's on a course of destruction, self-destruction. And you confusing his very, you're
literally destroying his frequency to divinity
and his manhood, because
which is divinity.
And watch this. We have especially men, we have a rearing and kind of like a self-engineer, which is a conscious for the most part. That's what it is. That helps rear us and helps us self-account. But when you don't have that as a boy, if you don't have that male figure to give you that and to help you recognize that within yourself, and a woman is being too lenient and she's not correcting you and not allowing you an opportunity to get in line with your own self-accountability, she throws your whole system off. And now when this boy, he's been conditioned to have second and third and fourth chances and thinking that he can mess up and he can keep continuing in his way and he can continue to just, you know, go along life with no accountability. Boom, when he get 18, he get out here in the world, he fuck up, it's over with. Two things gonna happen. He's gonna be dead or he in jail. That's why it's so important to have a father in the home. Or if you don't have a father, you need that male guidance, man. That's so important. That's bar none in any home, even for a woman. Like the male is the head of the household, period. It's no getting around that. Every family needs a male structure and a male figure in the household as the leader.
The fact that we're having this conversation proves that we're not really a God-fearing nation.
No,
we're not. The fact that is a negotiating or an argument or argumentative point in America, it shouldn't be a conversation.
That's a fact.
Like divinity and science proves it. Like you don't really.
Yeah,
it's
that's a fact. That's 100% fact. But that just shows you how far we've come as a society, how far from God we've come. But this is not, like for me, this is not, you know, I'm not shocked or surprised. You know, he says that in his word. You know, he says that the end days, the end times these will be signs to mark that time. Like it will be the same as it was in the days of Christ. You know, when his son was here, it's the same thing. It's just coming right back around. That's it. He said, you'll know the end times when you see these signs. And this is, like you just said, the fact that we even having this conversation, it shows just how far from a God-fearing nation we are. Because these are just fundamental things. These are fundamental principle things. Like, it shouldn't, like you said, it shouldn't be no debate. It shouldn't even be no matter of debate, no matter of
is water wet?
This or that. That's it. Exactly. That's how sure shit.
It's water wet.
That's how sure shit.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Is the sun hot?
No debating that. But yeah, you're totally right, man. That's totally right. 100%.
Yeah, man. It's hopefully people digest what we're saying. What would you title this?
Just real talk, man. Like, just real talk. That's all. That's what it is. It's truth. It's not my truth. It's not your truth. It's truth. Like, truth and real talk. That's what it is. You know, I don't got no thrills, no frills. You know, no catch lines and nothing. Just truth and real talk. Like, it's plain and simple. That's what it is.
Right. Yeah, man. The journey continues.
Definitely, man. It's a it's an ever changing one in this, you know, in this world, man. Because we faced with so many you know, challenges, man. It's crazy, man, how far we come as a people and how far we off as a people.
Right.
You know, it's confusing, man. And to go back to that point, when I said in order to establish power, to establish and retain power, it must be done with. In order to establish and retain power in the face of opposition and
you're breaking up.
must first. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, go ahead.
I said, in order to establish and retain power in the face of opposition and competition, you must first confuse and divide. Now, the easiest and most effective way to do both of those things is to pit people against one another. And the strongest and the most effective way to do that is by way of race. Because people, we have such an inclination to feel a oneness among someone who was in the same race and be totally against a person that's in another race for no other reason than that we share the same race or we don't share the same race. You understand what I'm saying? That's the easiest way to do it and the most effective way to do it. And this is how ignorant that is. Because like I said, it don't take nothing but a look. That's all it takes. And this is the kind of response to get out of
It's breaking down your phone.
I said, that's how low it is. Can you hear me?
Now go ahead.
I said, it only requires a look. Like it doesn't require no mental aptitude at all. It just requires a look. That's how animalistic and inferior that is from being a human. That's subhuman characteristics and traits. Like, it only requires a look. That's what you train dogs to do. You know, it's no mental, like, you're not operating no mental.
You're hopping on the share. Would the term be instincts?
That's it. That you acting like an animal, man.
Animal. You have no thumb.
At all. Like, I'm not going to even judge this person by how they may treat me or how they may, or even how they have treated me, which may have been good, but I'm going to just hate this person because they are different race than me, or I'm going to form an alliance with this person because he the same color as me, the same race as me, but I don't have no knowing or anything. Like, he could have a total different ideology than me.
Right.
But, you know, this is the kind of world we live in.
Right.
And I can tell you this, man, those elites don't give a damn about nothing but that money.
No, you're right. If you fighting for equality, you love white supremacy. Like, it's just that simple. Like, you know, like you really have an affinity for it. You really like. There's a piece of you that enjoys it.
Even if you think you don't.
They don't know. No, they don't know.
But
they don't know. It's their muse.
Captivated by the ignorance.
It's a muse. Like, I want to be the most intelligent person in the world that's fighting for equality. These niggas go get doctorates and master's degrees just so they can out-talk someone on the DS or emotionally charge a crowd to fight for equality. But they're not really fighting for equality. They're fighting for acceptance on the other side.
That's a fact.
They don't even know it, though. They want to get hired because you know where they go? CNN, MSNBC, Fox Sports, NBC, ABC.
And these are the same. And the cold part about it, these are the same people.
My gosh. Al
These
Sharpton.
are the same.
He has a show.
These are the same people that sell out.
No, it's not selling out. Because, listen, L,
they
we don't.
Bought and paid for
no, it's not even that. The goal is to sell out, L. But we don't call it selling out. You know what we call? Getting hired. You know what we call? Being the first black person.
Mm-hmm.
We've already sold out. Because look what happened to Jesus. Even if you don't believe in the Bible, even if you think it's just a parable, he was a freedom fighter. Look what happened to him. Look what happened to Malcolm X's 6 daughters. We don't really want to be free. We want to be the richest slave ever. We want to take a picture with the white man. We want to say, the white man gave this to me. And if he didn't give it to me, I'm going to dress like it. I got on the Gucci, the Louis, you know, that acceptance, you know, and but it's that is more systemic in 2022, or more, excuse me, more potent in our community than systemic racism itself. Self-degradation, lack of accountability, wanting acceptance. Like all these YouTube channels, I say, oh, that's an extreme. Many of these YouTube channels, I hear it in their tone. They want a job. I should be on ESPN. Huh? Why did you build a platform so you can get hired at ESPN? I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. Build your own brand. Like when a man says, man, I should get hired for Showtime, and they got their own platform, I'll be like, you're not really, you lack a level of masculinity. You lack a sense of self-belief. You want to get hired? You want to get hired and you have your own platform? Why don't you just take another 2 years and build it? Anyways. Yeah, great combo. I hear your voice dying, so let's get out of here, man.
No, it's not that. My phone about to die.
Oh, okay, yeah. Because I can hear it changing.
Even more so, my son, he in there. Man.
Oh, okay. Well, go ahead, man.
He been yelling his brains out for the last 10 minutes.
Oh, man. Well, go ahead, man. I know your Wi-Fi going on. Your house too big, man. You know what I mean? You got the Wi-Fi going out and shit, man. Be still, man. All right. Love you, man. Appreciate you.
Love you too.
All right. Peace,
brother.
All right. Gone all the time.
Later.
Yeah. Another great conversation with Mariel, man, my boxing trainer. L, man. Y'all thoroughly going to enjoy this, man. If you love this, man, you really going to love Checks and Balances, man. So go ahead and click the link. I'm going to play the trailer one more time and go check it out, man.
You're watching America This Morning, America's #1 early morning.
time after time after time, we are watching murderers go free. They hide behind their badges, they hide behind their white privilege, and they use the excuse that they fear for their lives to murder our young people in cold blood.
It's done.
Eggs, my brother.
No. Don't think about it.
All you self-righteous assholes do is march and destroy your own communities. Killing me won't change a goddamn thing.
It's a lot different when it's a grown black man standing there frowning.
Click the link below. Checks and balances. I love y'all. Peace.